Welcome, everyone. Roy Berkowitz here, welcoming members of our family, Rev Sandra Butler, and the fabulous fingers and body and mind of David Kane. We're glad you're both here. Thank you so much for joining us. If you will join me with a centering prayer. Let August be August, and let September be September. And let yourself just be, even in the uncertainty. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to solve everything. And you can still find peace and grow in the wild of changing things. So it is.
Oh my, just breathe that. Thank you, David. That is just so divine, as are we. And that is part of what I would like to speak with you about this morning, and part of what we will co-create. And as I like to say with you all, especially all of you, before I forget, and I never forget you, I'm so thrilled to be here. It's just always so fun. And this morning, we're going to have fun with our assignment. And the word assignment doesn't necessarily conjure up fun, does it? For most of us who spend any time in school, assignments sometimes could be actually interesting, bring out the curiosity, or, oh no, I can't do this. Oh, wait a second. Whoa, wait a second. And so the evolution continues. We can go from being curious as children, and then we start running into some, quote, obstacles. In Unity, we have this nice word we use, challenges, we like to say, okay? Or potholes, or some other word that's used for, it's hard and I don't like it. And we all get that, okay? And this is not about it being hard. This is about reframing how we look at something that we claim to believe. So I'm asking you this morning to take a look with me at what is a seemingly impossible assignment. Now, you'll note the word seemingly. We use that a lot. We may think it's impossible, but we've assigned it the impossibility word. But if we take a look and take the theme apart, we find that, oh no, not so much, okay? And what is this great assignment? This great assignment comes from Jesus, all right? And Jesus was our way shower, is our way shower, and that's how we refer to Jesus. And we refer very often to the fact that we do not worship Jesus. We follow the teachings of Jesus, okay? And so this morning, I'm going to use my version of Bible verses. I could read them to you, and I have them right here, but I think you'll get the gist as we move along. And then we're going to revisit and we're going to reframe, maybe for some of you, and for others, it will be like, oh, this is new news. I had no idea this was the deal. The great discovery that Jesus made and the great decision that he made and he's asking of us continually, as is God. How, you say, when that was thousands of years ago? Through the Christ in you and the Christ in me. The question is proposed. The question is also answered. However, let's return a little bit here to the great discovery before we get to the decision, both of which are part of our assignment. All right, so what's the great discovery? It's very simple, folks. You've heard it many, many times, but it was a great discovery. And Jesus discovered that God is everywhere. And that means everywhere. And it came at a time when Christianity had affirmed, among many other ancient wisdoms, that God, or what is God, is out there, and we pray out there. There is nothing within. It's an outside deal, okay? We're looking at it from the circumference and not the center. And then we enter into our Christian play, Jesus, the Son of God. But not quite so fast. Jesus was a young boy in Nazareth. We all know this Bible story, or if we don't, we know parts of it, okay? And we've heard some of it. But what Jesus discovered in his entire evolution as a human was his divinity. He demonstrated it in the crucifixion and the resurrection. He ascended, and his entire mission was not essentially that. His entire mission from beginning to end was to demonstrate the divinity in man. That would be in you and me, in case I'm not being clear. It was not to demonstrate his divinity. And unfortunately, folks, I'm here to kind of bang the drum this morning, as I am wont to do, that we, as in our own Christianity and many other types of worship, have put the divinity factor all on Jesus. We're here to celebrate the divinity of Jesus, and we haven't really understood his mission, his only message in life. And don't quote me parables and Bible verses. Jesus's only message was our own divinity, the divinity in man. And that discovery was profound. And for some of us, it is still profound. And here's where I'm going, because we don't believe it. Essentially, we will say it, we will mouth it, we will attempt to demonstrate it by being what I call a dumbed down version of divinity. We think we're being divine, but we really don't believe it. Okay, the discovery that Jesus made and Jesus proved in his life was the demonstration of God in Jesus, God in you, or whatever your expression or name for God is. I'm not getting into all that this morning. What is the God in you? That is what we call the Christ in each of us. Okay, oh, that term Christ. The definition for that is that's the nut root of where we connect with God, with spirit, with divine mind. Call it what you will. The Christ is that essence where we make that connection. Jesus discovered that, he owned it, he demonstrated it. And in his life, his entire message was around the fact that we too can do that and even greater things. And among the assignments were two specifics as part of our divinity. One, that we would love God with all our heart and our mind and our soul, our bodies, our very beings. And we would love our neighbors as ourselves. Well, if you're loving God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your divinity, and you're loving yourself that way, how can you not love your neighbor that way? Oh, well, now, Reverend Sandy, let's not get too round the bend on this stuff. I try my best. I'm willing. I hear what you have to say. But you know what? There's some people in my life I flat out don't like, and I don't necessarily show up divine when I'm with them. Well, who's counting? I didn't say anything. You know, sometimes I have these discussions with myself, quote unquote. They're with my little self and they're with my big self and they're with yourself. Because I know many of you, I'm not alone having conversations all by myself, nor am I having conversations all the time with my higher self. But it is in my willingness and in my trying that I like to think that I have discovered, at least, the fact, the idea, the concept that God is everywhere and that God is in me. But there are many times when I actually need more information to believe that I have the divine. For instance, the first time I heard someone say this to me, and you can try it, Sandra, I want you to say, Sandra Christ. Oh, I almost fell off my chair. It actually made me jumpy to say that. What do you mean, Sandra Christ? That just sounds blasphemous. We can't be doing that kind of thing. I didn't say all that out loud, but boy, I was having a right good conversation with myself about how I could not do that. The resistance was flat out there, even though I had just taken many classes and many courses on the divinity. I had affirmed the divinity in myself and everyone else, okay? The God in me. And I bring this to you because I felt that I had made the discovery of God in me. I had never made the decision of God in me. And my friends, they are very different. You may know all about God in you. You may have read every book and every biblical verse and attended all the classes and can give a chapter and verse about how God shows up in all of us. You get it. You understand it intellectually and in your heart. But has anyone ever asked you that you know of? Now, listen carefully here, that you know of. And here's the thing with know, people. You know, this discussion brought it up before. You know what you know that you know. So has anyone that you know ever suggested to you, have you made a decision that you are the Christ? Have you actually affirmed that in yourself? Or are you busy saying affirmations for everybody else except yourself? Are you saying very plainly, I am the Christ? Are you, and can you, right here and now, I'm asking you to silently say your name and put Christ after it. And see what your reaction is. Take your temperature. Does it sit well with you? Does it mean nothing to you? Is it, oh boy, Reverend Sandy's really going off this Sunday? That's not what's happening here, people. This is the essence of co-creation. And that is the Christ in me is meeting and connecting with the Christ in you by decision, by choice. And the decision part is also very important for a lot of reasons, because with decision comes the acceptance of the great assignment, And the great assignment was, do you believe that the kingdom of heaven is within? Do you believe that you can do greater works than Jesus did? And do you believe we're not talking about Chick or Kathleen or anybody else that I'm looking at, including myself? We are talking about the Christ in each of you. The individualized expression of God can do all things. All things. The possibilities are eternal. You don't even know all the possibilities. Yes, do you hear all the sayings that we've had? Now, here's the question with saying and speaking. We know in affirmations that we are affirming from the good that already exists. So when we say affirmations, it's not just a line of words that we say over and over, kind of like a mantra. We put them in our prayers. When you say an affirmation, do you say it having made the decision that you, the Christ, are making the affirmation? I don't know. Only you can answer many of these questions. And I'm posing them to you because we have a world today full of problems. And so often we will either discuss the problem, but we will not take a look at what is necessarily ours to do. Or if we take a look at what ours to do, we don't add in, have I actually made the decision to accept all the good in my life? To count the blessings, to be kind. But this goes beyond that, my friends. There's nothing wrong with any of that. The decision to recognize and to demonstrate your humanity as a representation of your divinity is a big decision. It does not happen overnight. Some people will say, oh, I was called. And I don't doubt that. But the decision to say the Christ in me is present and accounted for, and I'm going to demonstrate it, and here's the kicker, to the best possible demonstration of me. Now, we can all show up as being very nice people. I try very hard to be a nice person every day. And even as I say it to you, I think to myself, can I add more water to that? That is so dumbed down and so watered down. It's not about that. It's about convincing and making the decision without and with all authenticity. I am the Christ. Some of you still, and I say this because it takes a long time, don't necessarily believe it. And some of you are saying to me, well, okay, so maybe I don't believe it. So how should I believe it? How can I believe it? The answers, my friend, come on, turn it around, are right back at you. The God within you has all the answers that you could possibly want, need, desire, or affirm. Okay. And I'm getting passionate now because sometimes when I do, I know that it's partially for my own self, But this, my friends, this idea of making the decision to accept the fact that there's a Christ in you, that knot is unfolded, untied, that knot of fear, that knot of I'm not good enough, or that knot, when I say N-O-T, it can also be K-N-O-T. We do this with knots. We tie ourselves in knots, and that's resistance. We are not open to even contemplating the idea that the Christ is within us. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, I got that. It's been said 1,000 times in unity. It's being said one more time because I'm asking you, are you making the decision to believe that, or are you giving it lip service? Now, I can tell when I get this jazzed that I'm approaching being, what's the word? Not judgmental. I don't mean to be judgmental. I mean to say to you, have you tried it, Mikey? You might like it. Understanding that the Christ in you is from which you react. Your humanity, the way we show up in life, is a demonstration of how advanced we are in our divinity. Oh, no, you say, it can't possibly be. Divinity is the same. It's the same all over. My friends, the divinity is the same. It's you, the human, that is not saying, I allow the greatest, the best of myself, the Christ in myself, to be seen, to be heard, to be demonstrated here and now in this moment. And let's just take a look at this moment. You don't have any other moment, friends. We know this. This is it. This is your moment. This is the time to step up and demonstrate. And the reason that I get so excited, that's what I'm going to call it, passionate with you in particular, this community. You know exactly what I'm talking about, but maybe you didn't bank on me given the little kick in the slats that says, go deeper in your divinity. Divinity is not just a nice word and a concept. You got that early on in your studies. How deep are you in your divinity? What is it you're demonstrating to the world? Are you your best and highest self? That doesn't mean keeping a list. It doesn't mean at all telling anybody what you're doing, okay? Did Jesus run around telling everybody what he did? No, he didn't. He did it. He did it from the knowing his Christ self, that his entire mission had to do with demonstrating and helping man to demonstrate the divinity in man. So I will put this in the hopper for you. The next time Christmas is rolling around, when that Christmas comes up and we start worshiping the divinity out there, I challenge you to look right here. This is the divinity, and there's no worshiping about it. It is a fact. It is a known idea. You all are sitting looking at me, many of you, because you have accepted the idea. You wouldn't be sitting here if you didn't. But have you made the decision to actually live in it and to be it? And that means you don't get to take a step back the next time you're in a position or a place where someone is saying something that diminishes your demonstration. Oh, stop, Reverend Sandy. No one diminishes your demonstration. You do, by giving the power over to someone that does seemingly want to do that. So the word seemingly, back to the assignment. This is seemingly difficult. Yeah, maybe impossible. It just depends on you. And that's the part also that I wanted to stress as I come to the end here. A little more about how-tos, because I know some of you get it, but we're always looking for the how-to. And Unity's fifth principle is give them something to work with, Sandy. Not that you don't have already. And there's something to work with is part of it is letting go of resistance to the whole idea of the Christ of Helen. No, the Christ of Kathleen. I said the Christ. Why did I say the Christ? Because in our society, we even overuse the Christ. You've heard people seemingly swear using Jesus Christ. Well, I'm saying to you, think about Christ in you. That is, again, the knot, the center, the point, the middle of the crucifixion where God in you is demonstrating. What are you demonstrating? That is your decision. Because if you are coming always 24/7 from you, the Christ in you, you are coming, my friends, from a much higher level of consciousness. Now, okay, we're human. We don't always remember this. We may remember Reverend Sandy jumping around on the chair, giving it to us. We may get sparks of it. I get it. You get what you came to get. But when you leave, will you at least say to yourself, who do I think I am? And I want you to do it this way, please. And yeah, I said want, okay? I'm getting a little demanding in my old age. I want you to go home this evening, and before you retire for the evening, look into the mirror, and your homework is this: to ask the person staring back at you, who do you think you are? And then I would like you to quietly, silently, or not, answer. I'm serious about this little exercise. It may bring some very practical, in your face kind of experience with who are you? And have you given it some real thought and contemplation lately? And then I ask you, are you ready to make the decision to demonstrate? And part of making the demonstration is this: we go forward, friends. We do not go backwards. Mankind was not made to go backwards. Mankind was not made to sit in the past. Mankind has an innate DNA that says, move it out. And when we're not moving, when we're not curious, when we're not changing, oh, God forbid we have to change again. Not really. Yes, you do. That's part of the ever flow of nature, of the Christ in us. So I ask you to try and do this little homework assignment. And the other thing I would ask you as part of your homework, as I like to say, is be awake, okay? Wake up and stop walking, drifting like a zombie through life. I know life has been very difficult for some of you. Life for our world seemingly is just out of control and has been. Let's throw in pandemic, throw in all kinds of extraordinary things, okay? And I look upon that as it's true. It's true, there's grief and there's suffering. But if you make the decision to live your life from the Christ in you, the Christ that is you, that is a whole different way of walking and living through life. But you have to be awake. And what does awake mean? This is a special take I give you on being awake. Be awake to the ordinary in your life. Stop looking around for the extraordinary event so that you can praise yourself and the event because everybody came up higher. Stop that stuff. It's in the ordinary stuff, in the ordinary sweetness of a child's smile that doesn't even know you at the grocery store. It can be the sweetness of somebody holding the door for you. It can be the sweetness of a flower. Okay. It can be the sweetness of somebody you're really glad to see today. You know, you're really glad to see them. And they showed up just as they are. Authenticity. I think staying awake is probably the chief one that I'm going to leave with you, as well as who do you think you are? You know, we can visit this again. In fact, we will visit this again at some other time and place, but it really doesn't matter. This is the time, this is the place, and this is for you to make the decision. And if you would say to me, oh, Reverend Sandy, I made that decision. Count on me. I'm on board. Super. Then you show up in the next minute and this minute and this minute and this minute the best you can be, the very best you can be, because you're coming from your Christ. So I ask you then to please accept this assignment. And I read to you this one quote that I have here. And it is this: you see, it isn't enough to say, God, is all there is. It isn't enough to say there is one life and that life is God. This statement is not complete until you say there is one life, that life is God, that life is my life right now. Amen. Now let us take this into our meditation time. So I ask that you please come fully now to this moment. And in the perfection of this moment, know the divine in you as the essence of your very being. In this time and space, we know no fear, and we know no disease, no disruption. The never-changing, always unfolding nature of spirit abides in each and in all of us, and we are at peace. Behold the beauty of this holy instant, and allow the good in life to manifest as it moves from unseen to seen. Though darkness may be a part of our experience, it is not where we live. We are one with the one, and we live and move and have our being with the one. Turn to the light within you and affirm that you shine from the innermost part of your soul. All answers are revealed. All good, all love. And it is in the demonstration as we show up in all areas of our life, fully ready for whatever comes. Because we stand firm in the conviction and the affirmation of the Christ in me, my hope of glory. I am the hands and the feet of the divine. I show up as God as only I can. I show up as love, kindness, power, and courage. All who see me today are empowered to show up as their God self as well. Together, we become the beautiful orchestra of life, the beautiful melody that is created, uplifts and inspires. We rest in the knowledge that we are playing our part on the stage of life, and we are necessary players on this stage, bringing our gifts, our talents, and our affirmation of the Christ in me. And it does not serve me or the world to play small in that affirmation, in that conviction, in that decision of the Christ, for the Christ, in the Christ. And so fearlessly and courageously, we present our full self to the world. Anything that holds us back is released here and now. And we joyously give thanks and gratitude for the opportunity to serve, to be the highest and best self. We are truly grateful. And for one moment, let us just rest in the gratitude, in the knowing that we know what we know. There is a light. There is a love. Ever brighter. Ever forward. Ever ours. And so we let it be. And so it is. Thanks be to God. Alleluia. Amen.
So if you will join me for my closing prayer, that's based on John Donahue. May you be blessed with good friends. May you learn to be a good friend to yourself. May you be able to journey to that place in your soul where there is great love, warmth, feeling, forgiveness, and awareness of the Christ in you. May this change you. May you always be in the gentle nest of belonging. May you get by with a little help from your friends. And so it is.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.